We're talking about algebraic and geometric proofs, and here's an example to talk about. And it says, given m is between f and h, and fm is equal to 2x, and mh is equal to 3x minus 5, and fh is equal to 40. So we want to go through our steps that we did before, and remember the first step was to write down the given information. So the first thing I'm going to write down is m is between f and h. The next thing I'm going to write down is the other information there. So we know that fm is equal to 2x, and we know mh is equal to 3x minus 5, and the last one we know is fh is equal to 40. So that's the given information, and the reason that we can write that down is because this is given. Next thing that we want to look at is we want to look at what are we trying to prove? So we are trying to prove that x is equal to 9. And I'm going to write this down at the bottom of the page over here. We don't know the reason that x is equal to 9, but we know that's the last thing that we're going to want to do when we get done. And then to help us along the way, we want to make our diagram. That's step number 3. We want to diagram the things that are there. So I know this is talking about segment addition, or it's talking about segments. And I'm just going to make a segment of some length. And it doesn't say anything about being in the middle or anything, it just says it's between. So I'm going to put M over here, and not going to put in the middle on purpose because I don't want to confuse myself and put it there. But then we can say F, M, and H. And then we want to label our drawing. So we know that FM is 2x. We know that MH is 3x minus 5. And we know that the whole thing, FH, is 41 or 40. So we have our drawing. So we have 3 of them done. And now we just got to fill in the stuff in the middle. So the first thing that we know anytime that we have something between is we can think about segment addition. And so if we're looking at this here, we would say FM plus MH is equal to FH. And the reason that we can say that is segment addition postulate. The next thing that we can do after that is we can do, now that we have the geometric equation, we can make it an algebraic equation by using substitution. So we know Fm is equal to 2x. And we know that we're going to add, and it's going to eventually be equal to something. And the thing that we're going to add is 3x minus 5, because that's what MH is equal to. And then we know that FH is equal to 40. And the reason that we were able to say that is because of substitution property of equality. So substitution property of equality. The next thing that we can do, and sometimes we might call this something else, but in this case, we're going to combine like terms, and I'll say what we'll call it. So we can see that we have a 2x and a 3x right there. So if we say 2x plus 3x, we know that that is equal to 5x. So we know that this is called combining like terms. But when we're doing this proof, we don't have a theorem that's called combine like terms theorem or anything like that. So we know that 2x plus 3 is equal to 5x because those are the same value. So in this case, what we're calling it is the substitution property of equality again. And the reason we're substituting, basically we're taking 2x plus 3x out and we're replacing with 5x. We're substituting that in. So that becomes 5x. And then we are still adding an equal to, and there's still some parts that we haven't talked about yet. So we got rid of the 3x, but we're still left with that negative 5. And then we still have the 40. So the next thing that we can do is we want to get rid of this 5. So if we add 5 here, then we want to add 5 here. And when we all said and done, then we get 5x is equal to 45. And the reason that we could do that is because that is the addition property of equality. So looks like we got about one step left here. And if we divide both sides by 5 and divide both sides by 5, then we get x is equal to 9. And the reason that we can divide both sides by 5 is the division property of equality. And anytime we finish our proof and we're all done and we think there's nothing left for us to say, remember we can do one of those 3 options. I like QED, but you can do the box, the shaded in box, or you can do the 3 dots that show any one of those 3 options show that our proof has been completed.